Hey guys, Matt Dog here with another video. I'm doing more of my series on experimenting with Eldlich. Basically, now that I'm at 1K subscribers, I have a little bit more freedom to start focusing on, okay, what are these different weird builds that might have interesting synergies with Eldlich, or that just might be fun to play in general. One thing that I talked about with my chat in the live stream like a week or so ago was trying to combine Centur-Ion with Eldlich. Basically, Centur-Ion has this field spell where if you discard a card, then you can go through this linear combo that ends up on your opponent's turn summoning out Cosmic Blazar Dragon, which is like, I mean, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but this is like the best boss monster in the game right now. Like it's basically like Destructive Phoenix Enforcer combined with Baronne de Fleur, where every turn it keeps coming back. It's basically impossible to get off the field, and it carries with it an Omni Negate and 4,000 attack. Like, this seems pretty fantastic, and if all it takes is a little 6 card package and a discard, which Eldlich really likes because we have a lot of ways to get value off of discards, then it could be worth trying. I'll go into the deck list more at the end of the video, along with kind of what my overall thoughts on this experimentation has been. Basically, there are like pros and cons to this package. Going up first was against Floowandereeze, and this duel against Flu was so fun and gripping with so much back and forth going on that it kind of encouraged me, even when I was a little bit down on the Centur-Ion engine in general, to keep at it. Because I was like, I want to make a video where I can feature this duel versus Flu, so I'm glad that it's going to happen. Spoiler alerts, though, the Centur-Ion package doesn't come up a ton. Basically, what happens is it like baits out all of your opponent's negates because they're like, oh, this is a Centur-Ion deck. We have to stop the Centur-Ion package at all costs. And then once they do that, we can do whatever else we want because it's like a little tiny 6 card engine. Anyways, Flu, they didn't have an amazing start. They do have D-Shifter, which kind of sucks. We have ways of getting value off of cards in the grave. And they obviously have the Trap, which is going to allow them to either bounce to or set up an Omni Negate. Also, any monsters that we summon in attack mode can't activate their effects. We're going to draw one. Unfortunately, we already have cards on the field, so we can't evenly match. And this is kind of what I was talking about, where like they always try to negate your immediate effects. So obviously, this is a good starter. We would have been able to go into that whole combo where we get that amazing level 12 boss monster, but they Ash Blossomed it. That's too bad. However, part of the reason that I'm combining Centur-Ion with Bystials is these are a bunch of level 4 light monsters, some of which are even tuners, and Bystials are pretty good right now. There's a lot of dark monsters with dark cards and light cards in their graves. Bystials are a good way to interrupt that, and they're level 6 dark, level 4 light, Chaos Angel. So we put it in attack mode, even though we can't activate his effects because of Flu M-Pen. However, we don't care about banishing their cards. All of their cards can get recycled from the banished zone super easily. Instead, what we care about is that this card, because it was made with both a light and a dark monster, is unaffected by our opponent's activated effects and cannot be destroyed by battle. So at this point, I'm kind of like, is this just GG? Like, how does Floowandereeze get over this? The big thing with Flu is M-Pen can reduce his attack in half, but that's an activated effect, so M-Pen can just attack him and he doesn't care. The other thing that is really powerful with Flu is they have the Mega Monarch, which can shuffle a couple of cards from our field into the deck. But again, activated effect, we don't care. They tried to make our attack reduced in half, don't care. I love Chaos Angel, man. He's an absolute Giga Chad. So when all else fails, make Chaos Angel. Unfortunately, they do have exactly the one card they need to out him, and also the fact they didn't play this last turn means they literally top deck the one and only out this like on their draw phase. So congratulations. Basically, they're going to be able to use this to tribute Chaos Angel. First of all, it's not an activated effect, it's kind of a passive effect to tribute opponent's monsters and cards. And secondly, it's a spell card, so it wouldn't have mattered anyways, because Chaos Angel's only immune to activated monster effects. Unfortunately, they're really popping off. At this point, though, they do have 5 monsters on the field, so I can just blow them up with Torrential. So both of our cards, and I also recycle Chaos Angel and get a draw into another piece of our Centur-Ion engine. Okay. We're probably going to survive this turn. Yeah, 600 damage, don't care. They did manage to recycle the trap card with the Toucan, though. Ash Blossom. They had 2 Ash Blossoms there? That sucks. Whatever. All right, another Bestial. Okay, so first, we do manage to bait out the trap, so they activate it right away. They're going to try to recycle their M-Pen by banishing it and then recovering it with the Toucan. And they're obviously going to tribute away my field spell. Yeah, so that's kind of the thing that I was talking about, where the Centur-Ion package really baits them into doing a bunch of stuff, which, you know, has its pros and cons. It's not bad. We do have our full we have our full Eldlich package. There's no light or dark monsters. Obviously, they're all wind and water. But we do have our Eldlich package now. Okay, so they just go straight to battle phase. I let them swing. It doesn't do that much damage. I want them to not bother doing anything. They get a draw 1. Surely they don't have 3 Ash Blossoms. Nope. Okay, take out that continuous spell. Stop tributing all my cards. Thank you very much. Okay. So that M-Pen's still annoying. Unfortunately, we do have to get rid of the evenly matched. We have too many cards on the field. No Called by the Grave, Eldlich summons back. So now they have to do that whole thing again where they banish their own M-Pen and recover him with the Toucan just to recover. And now they're down to 2,800. So what the Bestials and the Centurions all couldn't do, the Golden Lord, and the Chaos Angel couldn't do, the Golden Lord does. Nice. All right. So now they have D Fissure, which is not great versus Eldlich. As soon as either of these lords go in the grave, they get banished instead. But luckily our traps do go to the grave, so we can still recycle those. So they had to recover their M-Pen, which means they weren't able to recover the field spell. Here what they do is the trap card also has this graveyard effect. Like you see how the Floowandereeze thing works, right? Where they just have this one normal summon chain, but they get huge amounts of value off of it. So this has a graveyard effect, which is basically Karma Cannon, but only for your opponent. Luckily, Eldlich has really good synergy with Karma Cannon. So we activate Conquistador there. We destroy the M-Pen, which, like, they already recovered it once. They can't recover it until next turn. And because of the trap, our Conquistador gets reset. They actually run multiple copies of that continuous spell, unfortunately, but I think they're out of normal summon chains, maybe? Yeah. All right, so next turn, flip. They don't even have any traps, so actually it's just GG, we win. And even if it wasn't GG, we have another Conquistador, which you can use to pop the D-Fissure. Awesome. So, a lot of fun. You saw how, like, a big part of this deck is, like, that you have multiple different engines that are all going, so they stop one, then you just go with the other. Oh, this is interesting. He's also doing a Bestial Centurion deck, but he's just going kind of pure Centurion. Okay, cool story, cool story. Yeah, like, not to spoil... You know what? I'm not going to spoil my thoughts. You have to wait till the end. But I think it's fun to experiment with, like, oh, here's a small package, all it costs is a discard. And a lot of our decks, especially like the 60 card decks that need you to discard a decent chunk of cards, like all of your rollbacks and stuff, can be useful. In this version, I was using oh, I think this is one duel that was actually using a toy box package instead of Centurion. Like, I kind of bounced up and down a bit from Diamond 5 to Diamond 4, but whatever. So Bestial, we grab that. We get SP Little Knight. So we don't banish the Cyframe Driver, because that would mean it gets recycled. And now they have 2 copies of Gamma in their deck, but all their drivers are banished, so we don't care. Draw 1, Skill Drain, Karma Cannon. It's going to be pretty good. Okay, so they do banish our Lubellion, but again, we recycle it and get a draw. We also summon out that, and we're just going to Skill Drain. So neither of us are going to add cards to our hand. That's fine. Okay. Chaos Angel. Skill Drained. He does destroy SP Little Knight. Yeah, Toy Box is another package that I thought might have some synergies with a Bestial deck because it's light and dark again, but prioritizing Chaos Angel doesn't matter as much. Okay, you're going to negate Illusion. I mean, I guess I didn't really have anything else, but... Alright, now what are you going to do? Another Lubellion. Again, we have Skill Drain up, so you're not doing anything particularly scary. Oh, we also have a Karma Cannon. You might hear my little dog scritching and scratching over there. Okay. Eldlich. Eldlich's hand effect to target and send is pretty awesome. Like, there are so many duels where that comes up and it's really good. We're just gonna destroy by battle. They can only use the Bystial they have in hand if I control a monster on the field. So as long as I have control of no monsters, I don't have to worry about them banishing my Eldlich. Draw 2. And they scoop. GG. So that's kind of a fun duel. Let's see, duel number 3 versus okay, so Tearlement Tearlement Horus. Okay. Yeah, so Tearlement decks are definitely one that we usually have a lot of trouble with because they have all the shufflers, which can be a pain, and they have a way to regain resources even when you destroy every card that they have. So having Bestials is like a decent way to counter that. Going second. Yeah, Cursed Eldland or an Eldlich is really good going second. It forces stuff out. Let's see, what are they going to do? Kalos, obviously. Yeah, they're just going to get to go full combo here, get to mill 8. Yeah, something else you notice about this deck is it is a 40-card deck, and I've been addicted to the 60-card variants because those are the ones where you can fit in like more crazy techs. But I think one advantage of the 40-card deck is specifically that you can have your floodgates get a lot more power. Like basically a 1 copy of limited to 1 summon limit, 1 copy of limited to 1 skill drain is a lot more likely to come up if you run a 40-card variant. So I think if you like floodgates, 40-card is probably going to be a little better for you. We do the classic Eldlich thing, set 5 pass. This is the Centur-Ion version of the deck, but we didn't run into them. Okay, get a pop. They already summoned back hit Rukalos once, so once we gets popped this time, she's not coming back. They do destroy the Conquistador, which is fine. It's a good thing we didn't flip summon limit over, because obviously it would have been really bad if they chose to take out summon limit instead of Karma Cannon. Because Karma Cannon would have ended this turn, but summon limit's going to end like all their turns. Oh, nice. Centur-Ion package. We don't have a discard for it, unfortunately. And the other thing is the field spell only works if it's activated the same turn that you do the discard and stuff. So, yeah, setting it there wasn't great, but it was at least fuel for our Eldlich, which I think happens in a couple duels where like you top deck and it's like, it's fine to top deck as like fuel for your Eldlich to come back. But it also kind of shows, okay, they're popping off. That's their last summon. Okay, but they are making Kaleido Heart, so that summon limit is gone. Yeah, I think a lot more decks have ways of getting around floodgates, so they're not something that just is game winning on its own. Like you have to be able to do a bunch of other stuff. Okay. He'll come back if he's destroyed by card effect, but not if he's destroyed by battle. So our Golden Lord's just gonna they just surrender there. Our Golden Lord is just gonna summon in 3,500, smash into him. GG. All right, what's next? Duel number 4 versus Infernoble. Okay. Yeah. One other thing regarding this version of the deck is because it has this very linear little chain that absorbs basically all of our opponent's interruptions like hand traps, ash blossoms, imperms. It makes the deck a little bit more susceptible to max C because we have to summon a couple of times. We are going full combo here. Oh yeah, I remember this duel. So if you want to know, the full combo is field spell. You grab Primera, set Trudea. We were able to get the Gargoyle out. And now we make this Synchro 12. The Gargoyle just adds to our hand, is just like discard fodder, basically. We search out another field spell for follow-up. And what's important is now we have 2 Centur-Ion cards in our spell and trap zone, and we have a level 12 Synchro. Alright, so they have to do one thing because we can only activate it in main phase and they have priority. But we summon both the 2 monsters, we make Crimson Dragon, using the field spell to synchro summon. Crimson Dragon copies this, and now we make Blazar. So this dude is awesome. He's an Omni Negate, he banishes itself for cost, So we can actually have skill drain on the field and also have this Omni Negate that keeps coming back. Because like Axis Code Talker and a couple of other cards, even while there's skill drain, because he attributes himself for cost, like he won't be on the field to get negated. So solid stuff. They're gonna try to do things. Obviously, the fact that we also have summon limit here means I'm just gonna wait for them to summon twice, and I have an Omni Negate like impossible boss monster, and it's just GG, you're done. In that way, you could see how he's a little bit more of a win more type card, but also we really like these slow, long, grindy games. And to me, Blazar Dragon is an amazing card for dealing with grind game. Okay, 60 card Runic Naturia with a little bit of Kashtira splashed in. All right, let's see how this goes. Yeah, the other card that they have is the other level 12 that's like the red hot something, the red dragon, and it's like if your opponent activates a monster effect, banish all cards they control, which is we're gonna get a trap that does something similar in a couple of months. Really looking forward to that. But the fact that we have a monster that can do that as well could be interesting. Okay, Centur-Ion, they have this guy makes it so that all spells are basically turned off. Like they can negate spells forever as long as they have cards. So this Called by the Grave, it doesn't do anything. All right, they summon out this dude who is a spell trap negate, so they are able to eat the evenly matched. And obviously they're protecting him from Called by the Grave with this guy. Set 5, tribute, summon. So right now my plan is like to Solemn Strike this guy once I activate a Called by the Grave, and then I can Track Trick into a Karma Cannon. I set the Branded Beast for later. Unfortunately, they synchro into this guy, which is infinite amount of trap negates, which really sucks. Luckily, we had a Solemn Strike, so Solemn Strike negates the summon. So, and because he isn't summoned properly, even though they have a number of spells and monsters that would be able to revive him back from the grave, because he wasn't summoned properly, he's gone forever. So, no infinite trap negates for you. They have the Horus engine, and we're going to Karma Cannon them. Goodbye. Because he had declared an attack with this guy, now all 3 of these monsters are going to be face down forever. They surrender. We don't actually have a ton. Like, I think what we would do is we'd use Huaquero and make, like, Ty-Phon, maybe? Ty-Phon can destroy this guy. But even then, they're going to have their Horus cards. Like, they're actually still in a good spot. They didn't need to surrender there. All right, that was duel number 5. Duel number 6, what do we got? Versus Fire King Snake Eyes. Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's kind of refreshing going back to the 40 card Eldlich deck. It can be kind of a handicap where I'm so used to having these fun 60 card rollback copy elemental burst decks. Like it's super addicting. However, like there are obviously big advantages to the 40 card deck. Full Fire King Snake Eye combo going second. All right, how are we going to handle this? Okay, we drawn into an Eldlich, which was unnecessary. We already had plenty of fuel. Okay. Get rid of an extra Conquistador. So there, if we take out the Fire King Island, it destroyed their cards, which obviously they all have a bunch of effects where they do stuff once they're destroyed, but it's a good way to get it out of the way now. They do have a monster negate, though. Summon out the Eldlich. Just send another Eldlich. We already have a Golden Land Trap. We already have multiple Golden Land Traps here. The fact that Eldlich is indestructible is nice, so when Kieran comes back and starts destroying cards to summon them back, we're not going to get destroyed. Alright, pretty full board. Non-targeting destroy, non-targeting banish, flip. They do get super lucky and hit the skill drain, though, which actually doesn't matter that much because they have a lot of ways to get around skill drain, namely the graveyard destruction effect. Okay, how are we going to handle this? Well, first, this card's trying to summon itself back, so now we know a specific target, so we can just banish it. They make this guy, which, like, it destroys all cards on all monsters on the field, but again, Eldlich is indestructible. So he goes to battle phase, he wants to destroy him, and when it's destroyed, it, like, has an effect to come back. So we're just going to we're going to Conquistador, destroy this, which is protecting their field spell, and then we can just Karma Cannon, flip him face down so he doesn't get to destroy himself and have extra effects, and reset our Conquistador. Yeah, I love the synergy that Karma Cannon has with Eldlich. And we'll set another Huaquero just for the diversity of it. What are we going to draw? Yeah, so that's kind of the downside of drawing into the Centur-Ion package, right? You need to have a discard. We destroy the field spell, which destroys his monsters. We can banish the spell trap negate guy, but he still summons this guy back. And now we make Chaos Angel, and because we made it with 2 light monsters, a Conquistador and a Huaquero, their Imperm doesn't work at all. They surrender as soon as I hit the field spell. I mean, it was game over anyways, but I think I also could have just used it as fuel to summon out my Eldlich. GG. That was a great game. Okay, one last duel against Centur-Ion again. Okay, so you saw, like, I've had Centur-Ion in my deck quite a bit, but it just never ends up being able to get resolved. Like, they always have hand traps. They always have ways to negate it. We draw into it turn 3 or 4, and you can't get value off of it, which also kind of shows the value that, like, the toy box package has. Like, if I was drawing into a toy box in those duels instead of drawing into a a Centur-Ion field spell, then I would have been able to set, like, Toy Soldier. The Eldlich Engrave grabs the Toy Soldier instead of the field spell, and then the Toy Soldier comes back and grabs, like, a Light Barrier statue, or it's just like a level 4 body. Yeah, interesting stuff. So right now they kind of have everything they need to go full combo here. So they have Centur-Ion, they have both of these guys. Their field spell is going to allow them to synchro summon on my turn. However, I have one advantage. Because all of these effects have to activate during the main phase, and I have priority during the main phase, the first thing I do, they can't do anything before I act. So I get the first action. I'm just going to use the Eldlich that I drew to send an Eldlixir and take out the field spell. They're going to try to, like, summon their monsters, but it's too late. You can't synchro summon on my turn anymore. They do have an Ash Blossom. We're going to call by it. And then they use the trap to banish it. A lot of times what they like to use is they use the trap on their own Baronne de Fleur, so that Baronne de Fleur comes back with her negate again. Whatever. It does make our ability to get into our Centur-Ion combo a little harder. I am going to try, though. So we have a Huaquero in hand, and we have the Eldlixir, which we can banish to set a Conquistador. Okay. Now, it's possible that I messed up this combo here. In fact, it's almost likely. So they banished our Primera, so instead we have to summon Trudea. Trudea resets itself to get out a Gargoyle. Gargoyle summons out. And then what happens? Yeah, so unfortunately, we just didn't have enough bodies to be able to make a level 12, because we need to have a level 12, and then we need to have 2 monsters in our spell and trap zone in order to get the combo off. So not ideal, but it's at least bodies with 3,000 defense, right? And we also have skill drain in all of our these cards, our Eldlich engine. They're going to try to destroy a monster. I'm just going to say no. I don't need any monster effects from my side anymore. Basically, if they didn't have that trap, then I would have had the Blazar against them, but I didn't, so I don't. We at least summoned this guy. Summoning out their monsters. Yeah, basically, the only way they can get around skill drain now is if they have access code Talker, because it can banish itself as cost. They're trying to banish SP Little Knight, but, like, it's negated, and even if I activate an effect so SP could chain to something and, like, banish themselves, that's still an effect that gets negated. Like, it doesn't banish itself as cost, so they didn't even need to see that I had a full Eldlich engine backing everything up. Goodbye. All right, let's take a look at the deck list and do a bit of a review. So overall, obviously, it's a fun deck to experiment with. I think it doesn't have synergies with Eldlich that are as good as other engines. The only synergy that I really saw was, first, that it requires a discard. We get value off of discards. And second, that Blazar Dragon works under skill drain. So basically, if we have this guy plus a skill drain or a summon limit or all of our other control E cards, then we're going to totally win the game. Unfortunately, it seems more like a win more type of combo. It ends up just kind of adding more targets for a lot of their hand traps. And what's powerful about Eldlich is normally we don't care at all about hand traps. Imperm, don't care. Max C, don't care. Called by the Grave, that's a little annoying. Ash Blossom, yeah, I guess. In the 60 card variant, it's kind of annoying. But like, normally, because we ignore like a third of our opponent's deck, then we can just like control the game and take them out. But it was fun to experiment with, and we'll be doing more of that in the future. So if you want to have the Centur-Ion package in your Eldlich deck, or maybe in some other deck as like a splashable little 6-card package, we have Primera, we have Trudea, and we have Gargoyle. So basically, you use these to summon themselves. You set them back in the spell trap zone. They summon again. You want to be able to get who is it? And then in the extra monster zone, we have this guy, who is the level 12 that just gets you a search, and he places one of your Centurion monsters in the spell trap zone. So you want to make sure you have a second spell and trap, usually I think Trudea, already there. And then on the following turn during your opponent's main phase, you make the level 12 Crimson Dragon. Crimson Dragon can then copy the level of Auxila to pop and either become Supernova Dragon, which has a huge amount of tax, can't be destroyed, and when your opponent activates a monster effect, banish this card and banish all cards your opponent controls. So I think the way it's worded, it can't get around skill drain, but it's a cool boss monster. But obviously the big perk is this guy who comes back every turn, can activate infinitely during your opponent's end phase. Like it'll banish during the end phase, come back, banish during the end phase, come back to negate if they have like 4 graveyard effects that'll activate in the end phase. He'll just like say no to all of them. So absolute Giga Chad, but ultimately probably not necessary. That was the Centur-Ion package. And obviously the triple copies of the field spell, where you add a monster, and then on your opponent's turn or your turn, you can synchro summon Quick Effect, which is how you're able to cheat out Crimson Dragon in only a few turns. This card is crazy. The fact that you can copy any synchro monster to basically like become it means that all these normally super hard to summon synchro monsters can get cheated out super easily. We're also running a small bestial package, partially because there's a lot of dark monsters running around, partially because it's a kind of a control-ish package. You can recycle your banished Eldliches and other cards to get draws. You can get a pop every turn or so. It's a decent package, and all these level 6 darks with a couple of the level 4 light monsters means you could make Chaos Angel. So in theory, you could actually summon Chaos Angel on your opponent's turn. Like you summon out a Bystial, you summon one of your level 4 light monsters Quick Effect, and then you use the field spell to synchro summon with one of your level 4 light monsters plus your Bystial. It's a cool combo. I like it. Probably doesn't work as well with the rest of what Eldlich is doing, I guess. Let's see. So that was the Bystial setup. Eldlich has just a couple of Cursed Eldlands. We don't need 3 because we're not running the 60 card version. Called by the Grave. We don't care about most hand traps, but there's still a lot of monsters in the grave that are annoying, and sometimes you do just want to hit an Ash Blossom. Evenly matched. It's great going second. Trap Trick, I just have 1 copy because we have mostly just as more ways to access Karma Cannon. That's the only really power trap we're running in this 40 card variant. Also triple Eldlixir. Solemn Strike is kind of a must in most Eldlich decks. Negate the summon of that really annoying Synchro monster. So normally it's an infinite number of trap negates, and instead Solemn Strike says that you never get access to it again. Skill Drain and Summon Limit are probably the best floodgates in the game right now, especially paired with Eldlich. Like you can activate your Scarlett Sanguine plus a Golden Land trap under Summon Limit, easy peasy, no problem. And then Karma Cannon has great synergy with Eldlich because obviously it resets our trap monsters, but it's also just probably the best normal trap in the game right now compared to Torrential Tribute and Needle Sealing, where you flip a bunch of monsters face down, so a bunch of cards that are immune to being destroyed or get value off of being destroyed can't do anything. A bunch of link monsters all get flipped down, and if you activate it at the right time, you can make it so they have like 5 face down monsters that they were about to use to like make a link or a synchro, and suddenly it's like they're like Kashtira locked, like their zones are locked and they can't get rid of them. Fantastic. And obviously the branded beast gets them the pops. Looking at the extra deck, obviously you know the the 4 monsters in the extra deck that make up the Centur-Ion package. We have a couple copies of Chaos Angel, just because I think he's an absolute Giga Chad. You can make him with a pair of Golden Land traps or with Light and Dark Bystial and Centurions. Because this one is a tuner, I thought I might be making Synchro 10 monsters more often than I ended up doing. So you could make a Baronne de Fleur, you could make a Supreme Sovereign. Now that I think about it, you could make those quick effect using the field spell as well. So a lot of variety that you can use there. And then finally, Ty-Phon, who's an absolute Chad. He comes up a lot. He's solid. Love to see him. Imduk, obviously, the Light Charmers and SP. You know them, you love them. They have great synchrony with Eldlich, and obviously these are all dark monsters. And then because we're running Bestials, I also threw in a Hieratic Seal of the Heavenly Sphere, just as something you make with a couple of these guys. Something else that I think is really cool about a Bestial engine is you can make this with 2 level 6s, which allows you to quick effect detach a material and send a card from your deck to the grave. If you're running like the 60 card variant where you're running Elemental Burst and Rollback, this means that like if you have 2 Bestials in hand that you can summon on your turn, you can immediately on your turn send a Rollback, on your opponent's turn send an Elemental Burst. Bam, bam, thank you, ma'am. So Bestials might be an interesting package to play with in the future. I'm not so confident in Centur-Ion as far as like synchronizing with Eldlich, but they're very cool cards, and I was really happy to play around with them. If you enjoy this sort of scientific experimentation of trying to test new variants of Eldlich, please subscribe for more, like the video, leave a comment suggesting new ideas of weird combinations or different cards you think would go well with Eldlich, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.